A lot of you has been asking me these questions. How on earth did I end up in Sweden, right? So lately I have did a research on ChatGPT and I realized the percentage of Singaporean moving to Sweden is really low. And it's like 0.01% of Singaporean will move here. And that's why I felt like this topic is really interesting. So I thought I'm gonna jump on live and explain to you guys why it is so low and it shouldn't be that way. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Estee. I am a Singaporean staying in Sweden, north part of Sweden in Skellefteå for the past 27 years. So the purpose of this video is to let you guys or to verify, in fact, 0.01% chances of Singaporean moving here. It's a bit low, and I want to somehow tell you or share with you my perspective why I choose here. I think basically there are a few reasons why a lot of Singaporeans are here. And by the way, do you know that there are only less than 200 Singaporean here in Sweden, the whole of Sweden, right? So it is not so much. And according to ChatGPT, they say that people who are Singaporean who are here, they are either here for work, they are either here for love, families, or they have what do you call that, the studies, if they are studying here or they are on a course. Singapore bought a lot of marine from Sweden, right? So I think it's probably that reason why a lot of Singaporean are migrating here or maybe temporarily stay here, whether is it for work or for family or whatever reason it is. For my reason, I came here first for love because my ex-husband was a Swedish, is a Swede, and we moved here in 1998 when my daughter was born. I was having problem in Singapore because the air pollution was so bad, and I was so sick during the whole time when I was pregnant. So we decided to give Sweden a chance. And the minute when I moved here, everything was like fine. I felt like, I'm in another world. And the first impression that I have is that, when you come from a country like in Singapore, you're so used to the sound, the humid, right? But when you come to Sweden, the things that will shock you most is when you land on the airport in Stockholm, there's a really big difference. That is the sound of silence. When I land on Stockholm Arlanda, I was looking around and thinking, how come nobody is talking? It's so quiet. Even if they talk, they were like whispering or they talk in a very soft, low tone. So that really shocked me. And from then, when I arrived, another thing that shocked me is the air, how clean the air and how fresh the air is. So let me just say decline. Okay, I think it's Genevieve who is calling me, so I have to call her later. Maybe I should put do not disturb so that no one will call me. All right, so unable. So I think how to move here, how did I move here? That is the reason why I was very pregnant. I came here, the air was so fresh, all my sickness from my pregnancy was all gone. So I decided to give this a try, and then I said, I have a job that I have to return to, but I still felt like I want to give Sweden a chance to see and live and see if I can extend my stay or continue to stay and just try it out. Eventually, I decided to stay because I really like the system here, the way the Swedish system, the education. From the beginning, the health was quite good, the health support. But lately, I felt like, it's a bit lack because we are lack of manpower. So the government is really working very hard on that, which is, I hope, will resolve soon. And I have changed my life for the past 27 years from somebody who is very stressed. I talk very loud and I am on the go all the time. I'm now also on the go, but on a very low tempo, a lower, slower pace. So I would say Sweden has somehow changed my personality and the way I look at things. So I think the 0.01% is like not justifiable. I think Singaporeans should move to Sweden because the past few times when I was in Singapore, I felt like my heart was like racing tung, 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 all the time. And I was like, I couldn't sleep so well. I felt like my heartbeat is faster. Even though, Singapore is a big, exciting city, but the tempo, if you have stayed here for like 27 years and you go to Singapore, if you have never been to Singapore, so you will find that it's a drastic. And I feel really sad because I notice a lot of Singaporean, they are very stressed out. Some of them, a few of my friends, in fact, they were like very sick, at my age. Some of them, even younger than me, they're already sick and they have issue with diabetes, with high blood pressure, and all these are due to the fact that they have undergone a long period of stressful environment. Wherever you go, at the bus, at the market, at the supermarket, wherever you are, it's always people around you and there's always noise around you. And I think also when I look at my friend, they were like looking at their phone, meeting friends here, meeting left, right. There's so much things to do. I mean, being a Singaporean, that is really, really normal. But I felt like, in life, there are many other things that are very important. That is the most our health. So I think one of the main reason why I moved to Sweden is because I felt like, I used to cough a lot. In Singapore, I was like coughing all the time. I don't know, is it because of the air? But I used to fall sick, like I have to take MC like every time, at least once a month. And I was having this problem with my asthma and my coughing, and I don't know why. I felt so sick. But when I came to Sweden, I felt like I'm quite sick in the beginning because I'm a Singaporean, I have an Asian blood, I still trying to adapt to the temperature, the way of the lights, because here, half a year is like very dark and half a year is like very bright, right? So it's very extreme. Let's talk about the pro, all right? Because I think you need to know like why it should benefit you also and why you should move, especially if you're Singaporean. And for the pastime, I'm really hot. I think I better on the fan, but then it makes some sound. Okay, so I'm gonna try my best. It's so hot today. It's like 27 degrees Celsius. And I know you guys from Singapore probably say, hey, 27 degrees is quite chill. Why is she sweating? Oh, that is a side effect. If you stay here in a cold country, for so long, even though 25 degrees is still very hot for me. So that's the thing that you have to consider. But you know what I felt? I'm going to share with you my point of view, all right? Why you Singaporean, especially if you are getting older and if you can retire early and find a place like a summer house or a place where you could get away from Singapore for 5 6 months would be really healthy for you, because I think there are a lot of opportunities here for you to just, swift your life, and maybe, for the sake of your own health and for, your mental health. I live here because I felt like, I have more time to take care of myself, which is what I think a lot of Singaporeans don't have that opportunity. They work, eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep. Even my sister who came here like many years ago, she could only stand like 3 4 days here in Sweden, and after that she felt like, oh, I can't. It's too quiet. It's too cool. It's too slow here. I cannot take that tempo. So unfortunately, I felt like, again, this is depending on your personality. If you are so used to the fast pace and exciting city life, then Sweden is not your place. And what I can categorize, the type of people that are suitable is people who are planning to, you know, retire early if you can. The houses in Singapore is extremely expensive, right? So the government is trying to like encourage you to downsize from a 4 room, 5 room flat to maybe a smaller apartment. So with that extra income of money that you're going to sell from a HDB flat, why not invest in a summer cottage in Sweden? Because I mean, to fly from Singapore to Sweden is not that expensive. If you buy your ticket in advance, it is actually quite reasonable, about maybe 1,007, including the domestic flight from Stockholm to Sweden, which is only just 1 hour. So I mean, Stockholm to Skellefteå, where I live. And I would say that it is more worthwhile investing a property in North Sweden, because North Sweden is easily affordable. South of Sweden, no way, right? It's far too expensive, and it is, not that kind of lifestyle. It is maybe not only expensive, but maybe the way the summer house are located, they are either quite compact, like among your neighbor, it's very close to each other. But in Sweden, like here, our neighbor are not so close to each other, so we have a space to breathe. So I felt like, it's two categories of person like me, all right. If you are somebody who are planning to retire, and then you have an amount of money that you want to set aside, why not invest? Because if you get old and you felt like you cannot take care of the summer house anymore, I'm going to give you a little short tour so you more or less know how a summer house work in Sweden, all right, later. Make sure you stay until the end. So invest in a small summer house, and then the value of summer house is always going up higher and higher, because like it's really in demand. And if you are lucky, you can get a small summer house just like us near the water for less than, if I'm not wrong, all right, you can easily get them at around 150,000 Singapore dollars. You can really get one really nice one, right, near the water. And the tax, the property tax, and the cost to keep up or maintain a summer house is really very affordable. I LG is not here, but I would love for him to work out a figure. But I know it is like so cheap, and it's not that difficult to afford. So let me know if you want to know the breakdown of the cost, and maybe I'll get LG to sit down and tell you guys how cheap it is to have a summer house here. And then, the only thing that you need to do is just to open up the summer house and close the summer house for the winter. Opening up is like spring cleaning, you just need to get whatever things that are out, And I'm going to explain to you how, right? I'm going to give you a tour so you have a better idea. And another category, I remember I told you two category, right? Is the type of person like me. I am the type that I love. I never loved nature. I don't know what is nature until I come to Sweden, and then I realized that wow, whew, this is nature. And what can I get out of nature? It's not just the mushroom and the berries that I get. I think it's the energy that you get from a nature that build you up strong and that you could more or less have time to like build up yourself mentally. I came here, I was really broken, I miss my family very much. I have a small family, no doubt, but then, I really miss them. I miss my friend very much because, I'm the type that is, I like to hang out with friends. And I'm very loyal. And I have a few close friends that are really kind and nice to me. And we are still having contact, but it's as far as I want to. They didn't have the time for me. Even, I literally try to reach out. They always say, "Oh, sorry, I'm at the MRT. Oh, sorry, I'm marketing. I'm buying fish," and so you see what I mean, right? They don't really have time, and I really try my best to tell them, "Hey, slow down. This is not good for your health. This is really bad for you. You have to learn how to slow down." That is why I'm creating content, directing towards slow living, because I see how the impact of life in Singapore affect them, and because that's why they are sick. So that's why I want to share why I think it is important to take our life slowly. Even though we are living in a big city, you still can make it slow living. You just need to like think, prioritize what that is enough is important for you. You know, Sometimes we always say that, oh, how come this fella got no don't go out one. A lot of people always ask me, hey, Hessie, I never seen you talk about your friends or your family in your YouTube channel. I said I chose not to because first of all, I want to some of the people, I have to respect their privacy, and some, I just felt like I have no need for to do that because I just felt like it is enough. Just not exploring their privacy, but I felt like I should like keep it really simple and just put the focus on not myself, but on the simple things that we have, and we didn't realize that we have that thing in us, not just because of the surrounding, but in us, that we can do it. So I think two category is either you are retiring or you are the type that really love nature and you want to learn, because as you are in the nature, Sweden is like 80% of the Swedish forests are edible. And even until now, after 27 years, I'm still learning the different types of edible things in the forest. And the sad thing is that the Swedish summer is really, really short. And, people are a little bit stressed because especially they have like 5 weeks holiday. So they have to make the most out of it. And I think this year we are very lucky that we have really, really nice summer. But to me, I feel the summer is too hot. It's like Singapore weather. Even today, I'm sitting in house and I'm feeling the sweat already. So yeah, I think it's nice, but you just need to know what to get. You need to have a fan. And I think the opportunity for work, if you're coming, if you're as a young person, because I realize a lot of you guys are belonging to the 24, 35 category of my audience are this group. If you are not retiring there yet, you can also search for job. Unfortunately, our Norvolt, our battery factories, who recently hired more than, I think, 100 over different kind of nationality. And I realized a lot of them are from Malaysia and some from Singapore even. And also a lot of people from Philippines, from Australia, from the United States, they moved here. But because the factory closed down, or bankruptcy, and they moved back to their own country. But they are moving back again because recently this factory, there are a lot of people, a lot of investors wanting to buy this factory, and they will have to start up this factory again. So I think this is an opportunity for you guys who are looking for work and just want to try it out to live in Sweden for a while. Another chance where you could live in Sweden is that is why I start off on Airbnb. The reason why I do that is because I see that as myself. I think, sometimes you really have to believe in yourself, like your vision, how you visualize your future and what really drives you. I told before I met LG, all right, which was like 9 years ago. I met him now around 8 years now. So, like 10 years ago, I was staying alone. I divorced, and then I, have this crazy thought because I thought, Singaporean should come here and visit first and then feel for themselves. Or not just Singaporean, anyone should who have the intention to move to Sweden should do this, don't buy the property right away, all right, even though it is cheap and all that. But I think that you should at least stay here for a few weeks to have a feel of how the vibe is, the environment, the air, the people, the kind of lifestyle here before you decide buying a property here. Because the reason why I said my sister, remember, she could only tahan, stay here for like 3 days and she has to go. Sweden, it may not be for everybody. You have to feel here, come here, have a feel, the surrounding, breathe the air. And if you're planning to stay here long term, you should just come here for a few weeks and just feel the vibe. And, then decide to stay here because you never know how it is like. And I suggest coming here like during the summer. And if you are a retired person, if you are planning to stay here like half a year, stay here half a year. Or I mean, that is a long process. It would be good if you can try it out and stay like a few weeks first before you think. Or maybe if you really like me, I'm crazy. The first week I really fall in love with this place, and then I think that you should give yourself at least 2 3 weeks to study the market. Like talk to the local. That's why I said I had a vision like 10 years ago. I said, how nice if I can have like a place where I can, accept Singaporean coming here and stay with me like a few weeks and my Airbnb, and then I'll guide them like where are the places to buy, why, what is the cost, that I could give them my estimated cost for them to have the opportunity to own a property here. And what are the things that you need to think about? Because some people, they might not like the mosquito, for example, and then they have to stay away from, certain place like lakes or river, still river. So there are a lot of things that you need to think about when you invest in a property. And also, Singaporean, we are used to like convenient, right? Our convenience store is just like a few steps away. So that's the thing. How can I get a car? Can I get a car? Or do I need a car? How much does it cost, for me to own a car? Or can I rent a car? Or can I get an e-bike? Would that works? So all this needs a little bit of, you need to gather information on this, how much everything costs and what are the benefit, like, what kind of lifestyle you would expect, and then and then from there you move on, like building your foundation first and see. So I think staying in a Airbnb, or maybe not necessarily Airbnb, you can even like stay in a hotel, for a few weeks. That would also give you some time to like think about places. That's why I think you should consider that, because not saying that it really changed my way of looking at things, but the kind of lifestyle that you are after, you must be able to know whether or not this kind of life will suits you. And if you've been following me for a long time, you guys know what I try to what I'm trying to say to you guys, what kind of life and how grateful I am with Sweden, that gave me the opportunity to look at life in a different lights. So until this day, I'm really, really grateful for what nature done to me and people around me, how they interact. It took some times, for me to understand how to socialize with Swedish people. And I think mentally you need to be quite independent, because to Swedish people, they are really nice, right? But you need to like get into their, they have like a different stage of friendship. So for me, 27 years, I think my friendship is not like just going out. Like Genevieve, my friend Sweden, from Singapore, she said, oh, I can just go out and be friendly and then I get friends from Sweden. No, it's not that. Swedish people, they are a little bit careful. They are very shy. They are very careful, and they have no needs to have a bunch of friends. And some Singaporean might find it's really difficult to like get friends. That is how I felt from the beginning. I get to know friends from my children, my daughter's childcare, and then from there I built up the relationship. And when I moved back to Shalafield, and I also felt like it took me sometimes to build up relationship and get to know people. It's not like you go on the street, you have to know them through work or maybe through a club or through a course, and not to at the shopping center. That's not the way. But like I said, you need to be independent mentally before you are prepared. Part-time in the summer house would be nice. To stay here whole year round can be very challenging because of the long winter. It's really cold. Some of my Singaporean friends, or maybe people from Asia who come here, they even summer is quite warm. They cannot stand the summer here because they felt like it's too cold. Even though it's like 18 degrees, it's very cold. But then again, think about that. It's like natural air condition, right? You don't have to like turn on the air condition. And that's one thing I really like about, that's what I really appreciate about Sweden, is the temperature, which is so soothing, except for this year. Summer between 17 to 28 degrees Celsius, the hottest. But this year, it go haywire. I do not know why. But it is really, really soothing, comfortable, I would say. I think a lot of Singaporeans say, Singapore is so boring, right? eat, sleep, shopping, eat, sleep, shopping, which I agree, there's there's a lot of things you can do, but I mean, but they are not cheap. If you want to go to the zoo, it's like $50. If you want to go to some tourist attraction, it's not cheap. It's like $30 onwards. So not if you have a family like four, it's going to be very expensive. The disadvantage of staying in Sweden, the only thing that I could think of is the healthcare, and like I said, the maybe socially. But I felt like Sweden, if you are creative enough, there are tons of things you can do. Like, since the summer is so short, if you take a closer look at what Skellefteå could offer you, Skellefteå is actually a very small area, but we are much bigger than Singapore, right? It's a very small area, but then during the summer, there's a lot of things you can do. You can go fishing, you can go hiking, you can go cycling. There's a lot of free event, like concert. You can go for free, and there are a cafe, there are flea market. You could go to the beach and spend the whole day chilling out. Even if you don't know people, you will not feel like you are being intruded. You don't feel like you are on your own. Somehow you feel like there is a community. When I'm in Singapore, I felt like a bit how do I call, a bit irritating sometimes, like, because Singapore, we are so international, right? And then when you have people from so many countries into a small place, and then their way of behavior can be a bit annoying sometimes. Like the past few times when I was there, I had encountered a few very unpleasant experience with people from other country. But in Sweden, I'm not saying that you don't have that, but much less. So I think people who are from other country, they somehow learn very quickly how the Swedish way behave, and somehow they integrate themselves mentally themselves. They didn't go for a course, but by observing, they know, okay. But still, you cannot be like 100% sure that they will behave the way it should. But there are still some people who doesn't understand. So it's just a matter of integrating. So do you have any question for me? Let me know in the comment, okay? I am going to give you a little bit of tour now, so you can see what it is like to stay in a summer house and how things work around here, all right? So I'm going to flip the camera so you can see. Okay, now you are looking at my LG's cottage. This cottage is just about 50 square meters. When you come in during the summer, you need to have this kind of net. This is really, really good to have. We start off from the outside, all right? As you can see, we have a tent here, which is not very expensive. I think it's like 1,000 or less than 1,000 Singapore dollars. You can set up a tent like this. So this is like an extension living room for us. So we sit out here, looking out on the sea, which is really, really nice. So winter time, we will take this down, like October, end of September, we will remove this tent. And you can set it up again next year. So we have this tent. I'm going to try and go in here because the boat is coming. This tent, we've been using this for like 5-6 years now. It's still going strong and reusable. And it's really nice to have this mosquito net, so you could prevent the mosquitoes from going into. So you can have dinner there. And we used to chill out with our friends, neighbors here. which is really, really nice. Um, Over here, we have a sun area. Again, my sun area. So in the afternoon, this part will be very sunny. And this morning, I took out my flowers because they've been in the shade. And now the sun is coming out and it's still not very strong. So I think I'll just leave my... So this plant is called pelargonium. I'm sure some of you have seen this before. So it's really cheap. I think I bought like 5 of them. I bought 10 altogether. It's like $10. I think $15 Singapore dollars for 10, which is really, really reasonable. And this plant, you could actually plant them again next year. You can bring them when the winter comes and then let them sleep because they will not have any flowers. So they flowers only during the summer and in the autumn. So I think they are really, really pretty. So this is something that you can buy, not beginning of the spring, but towards the end of the spring or the beginning of the summer. Usually they sell very cheap, yeah. Over here, we have actually built a small table because I like to entertain. So we have a small table here. Sometimes we have a little buffet here. So people can pick the food and then they go into the tent and eat. And here we like to sit here in the evening or afternoon for some sun. The garden is not very big. And the one thing about having a field like that, I'm going to show you this part. There is also a field. So we have neighbor with a boat. So the thing is that when you have a field, you have to get a glass cutter clipper. I don't know, no, grass clipper, we call that in Sweden. So you have to maintain it, like, you know, if you don't maintain it, it will grow quite fast, especially this year, you know. Actually, I think he cut 5-6 times already. And you need to have a grass cutter, a clipper, to trim the grass and to maintain. And over there, we have a fire pit. So the barbecue ring, you can actually build one yourself. But this one, I think LG bought it, which is quite good. We barbecue a lot during the summer. So all you need is to get some firewood or you buy some charcoal. The house has cottage has a private lane that comes in from there. So we always park our car beside the toilet. So it's more shady there. But otherwise, you know, if you get really hot in the car, it would be good to build like a temporary shade to protect the car. But we'll see if we can do that this year. So let's go into the house. Okay, on this part of the house, right, that is where our sampan is, our little boat. And here we have another storage place, one storage there and another storage here. And also over here we cut a lot of wood and then we just put them, and I think there are more woods over there. Yeah, so the grass has to be trimmed and maintained. And now the grass is getting greener because it has been raining the past 1-2 days. So the grass is green again. So let's go into the house. But before I go into the house, let me show you this one. This window. Actually, this window is 2 glass, one here and one outside, to prevent the window being the house being too cold during the winter. But if you want to stay here for like all year round, you know, if you are here for, what do you call it, until before winter come, you know, you really need a stronger, maybe 3 layers of window glass to keep the house warm. So this is our living room. Basically, it's very, very simple. And because it's just two of us here, we don't really have a lot of stuff here. Me and Ajay watch TV, and sometimes if we have guests, neighbor coming over, so we'll just pull out the sun chair and then let them sit around here or around here, you know. So really easy, convenient. Then we have the TV right in front. And then, you know, it's also good to have like a inside dining area, because sometimes it rains quite a lot outside, so you cannot sit outside. So you can sit inside here. Especially when it's a lot of mosquito, it's really nice to be here. I mean, even though there's mosquito nets, but sometimes they find their way in. Huh? So it's always good to have one indoor. And we have a lot of this kind of small storage, you know, because I think it's very good, because I cannot operate. Maybe I'm having dementia. Or I have to label all my drawers, you know, so that, you know, I remember. I don't have to like search the whole place to find stuff. You see a lot of alcohol there, but honestly, we don't really drink that much. It's just for decoration. I'm just kidding. We do drink, but not so much. This year I try not to drink so much, because, you know, me Asian, we are not that intolerance of alcohol. So I try not to drink so much. It's not so good for the health. Yeah. Yeah, I see a retouch video here. Retouch on. Yeah. Retouch off. Okay, let's go to the kitchen. Very simple, you know. I try to keep it really, really minimum, so I don't have to dust, you know. I don't like to clean house. So when I'm here, I just want to relax. And there's a fan here, which I feel is really, really good. This fan is standing, and it has a thermometer too, so you know how hot it is in this room. So this now is 26 degrees Celsius. So I usually like to on it, and then, you know, like that. And then you can like flip them. And I think this is really, really useful, especially when it's hot. And this is the fabric that I got for free. So I just need to sew them like through 3 layers. And then see, instead of throwing this broken chair away, I repurpose it. And then we have a fireplace here, which is really good and cozy. And these are the wood that we have in around the house where we can chop. You don't have to seek permission, because if that land belongs to you, you can chop whatever you want, how much you want, right? And then we use this tree to light up the fireplace. And it get really hot up to the chimney here, and then somehow it heats up the whole living room faster. And the one with the bricks are much better, and also those with metals are better. Metal, I think they cool down quite fast, but with the bricks, it actually helps to maintain the heat for a very long time. Okay, now the disaster place. I'm trying to figure out how to work on this. My disaster heat plant, we call that. I don't have a lot of storage here, unfortunately. So we get whatever things that we need, and those things that we don't need, we don't bring them in the summer house because of the limited space. So over here, I have some of the things that I use: sesame seed, some bubble tea, and then I have some oat chocolate and some Vietnamese tea, coffee, onions, and this one is my wonton cups I make myself. And then this is a series food. and some bread and wine, and don't have so much space for big equipment. But my crock pot is a must have, and then my rice cooker is a must have. I cover them because then it will not be too dusty. And the same with this, I cover. Otherwise, small room like this, when you cook, and I cook just there, and then all these things here around the wall will be very oily. So I protect my equipment with the cover so they will not get so oily. We have a microwave, all my sauce, all the things that we might need occasionally. My thermos, this is the sauce pot that I bought at the flea market for 30 crown. And then we picnic a lot, so this is a tingkat, that we use a lot during the summer. And over here we have some glass and some mugs. And over here I have my summer jar. Bought this at the second hand too. And hey, how come there's bottles here? I'm going to fill this up because it's very hot. So I'm going to fill this up with water. And then I have some teacups and bowls. We don't have so much of a space here. You see, this is the only place that I could put cups. And then over here we have some plates. Not so much of a space. And then we have a 2 sink, dish holder, and then the oven. And then my pantry. Oh, okay, you have to close your eyes. Yeah. And then I'll have some more food up here, which I tried to organize, but it ended up disaster because there's so much and it's impossible to organize them. And then we have a fork and spoon. Mak pak choy, let me tell you guys one thing. You see this pak choy here? I don't know how many of you have this problem when planting pak choy. All right, there are always a lot of insects and worms. If I put this outside, it's going to be damaged for sure within 1 day because here there's so many flowers and there are a lot of insects. So pak choy don't really work in a place like here, which is so close to the nature, because there's too much. And every morning, you know what I do? I will just stare at my pak choy like that, every morning. And then I was just looking and see if there's any worms. So just imagine. It's a pain, just a pain, Oh, it's so much work. Not so much to say so much about my kitchen because it's really, really small. Here I put my pots and pan. And then here I put all my machine and more utensils. And then this one, I bought them at the flea market. I think it was like 50 crown, $10, or maybe $8. And then this one, I bought them at the flea market for 10 crown. That is like $1. And this also $1. I can put my bracelet, my nail color. This is my beauty session, all right? Just above my spice. Inside, I'm not going to show you because inside is a mess, all right? It's a bedroom, but because I put so many things on the bed, but I'm just going to give you a peek, all right? Oh, really serious inside. So, guys, this is a disaster, yeah? So, I put, we call that Vaxtuk on this bed. So, because I have so many baskets from foraging to sewing machine to ice, we call that the chiller box, and my more foraging basket. And this house is like so small. I cannot have them on the floor because then it would be so difficult to clean, right? Silly? Silly. Hey. You're sleeping, eh? So this is Siri's bedroom, officially. And LG is been sleeping over on the other side of the cottage. And you see, I have to put all my pak choy in here. Disaster, right? Okay, let's go to the other side of the house. All right, I'm going to show you my lovely, lovely cottage where we sleep. Hopefully, you have an idea. Oh, no, I can't. I have to do like this. Maybe this will work on both. Let's see, all right? I'm just going to give you guys a really quick tour. We have some bicycle here. And that's the storage. And then we have some red currant already ready for picking. And that is our small tiny garden. And let me show you the toilet. I'm so happy with this toilet now. It's a proper toilet nowadays. We have this, we call it the oven toilet. So whatever things that you have in the toilet, you just put them in this paper. The paper is up here. Just flush it, and then this oven toilet will just bake your sheet in 550 degrees, and then it becomes very little ashes. So you need to just empty this like 2-3 times in one season. And our shower room, and this is where we wash our clothes. This machine here, very messy. So let me just quickly go to this other cottage. All right, you will notice that in Sweden the cottage is like they have separate toilets, right? The toilet and then the house. And why is it so? Why can't we have the toilet in the same? Can you guess? Can you guess why? I'm going to let you guess, all right? Why the house is separated from the toilet. Okay, I'm going to bring you to this, our sleeping cottage, which is not far from the main house. So to walk here is just about maybe 40 meters. And then again, we have here you have the view of the sea too. I'm not going to put up the curtain because it's very hot. So I'm actually using these shades to protect the heat from coming into our bedroom. All right, so this is how our sleeping cottage look like. We have a sofa here, which sometimes I lie here and edit my video, my YouTube video. And then I have some drinks. And then there is a heater here, which is not the real one, but it's still as good. So, and I painted this, I think 3 years ago. And I didn't build this home because this home was actually built by LG and his son and some of the relatives. So they didn't want to stay here. So LG bought over this small cottage. And it's, I think, if I'm not wrong, it's about 70. It's about Singapore dollars 10,000. 10,000 Singapore dollars to build this. So we took over this cottage, and it has a kitchen. The kitchen is not very big. 2 sink. I think this is a very vintage kitchen. And then we have a small table and 2 chairs. And then we have a proper stove here with an oven. But this kitchen has never been used. So because we already have one kitchen there, so it's no point, right, having one here. So this would be good if, let's say, if you have a guest who wants to come here and stay here for a few weeks, they can cook here. There's even a full fridge here with a microwave up there. And there's some cute little container here. Put biscuit, cookie. Not so bad, yeah? So again, we cover this with dark curtains because if not, we will not be able to sleep here. And over this side, we have, this is a really cute study table where I do paintings here. And I decorated this corner. And oh my God, here is dark. This is my walk-in closet. I have my clothes in this. I don't have so much clothes. And this is actually supposed to be a toilet. But because, we already have a toilet outside. So it's no point. When you have 2 toilets, you have to more work. So right now, I'm using just like a changing room or a walk-in closet. So this is where we sleep at night. It is really, really nice. It's because this house is, what do you call that? It's with a roof with trees behind, a forest behind. So it's not so hot. These are all the signature from the guests that came visit. So just imagine you have a memories of our guests. Okay, it's getting hot here, so I better go out. Otherwise, it will just, oh God. I think I want to open the door for a while. Let some fresh air come in. And then it will close by itself for sure. I need to get a stopper here so that I could, prevent the door from closing. But anyway, I'm going to close it because I don't want insect to be in here. And if we're lucky, sometimes we can see some, we call it hore. It's a wild rabbits here. They've been visiting my vegetables for the past 1 week. But fortunately, they don't like this, they didn't eat my Vietnamese veggie. So I'm going to see whether this will withstand the sun getting hot. Oh, there's some birds there. So guys, what do you think about my cottage? If you want to know the price, that you can buy, for instance, as a foreigner, you can buy as a foreigner. There are a few criteria, how you can finance. But I think if you want to buy, if you have cash off hands, it is better to buy without any interest. Just buy it. It's so affordable, and the rules is not that tight. So if you guys are interested in, how are you eligible? How much do you need to have offhand? Let me know in the comment, all right? So that I could answer your questions, or I could send you to a link where you could find all the information about how you too can own a property here in Sweden for retirement. And let me know. All right, I'll try my best to help you. If I can't, I'll just send you some links that may hopefully may be helpful. So today, LJ is out and he's doing some errands. So I can't cook at this time because it's too hot. And I'll probably be like just chilling out, and maybe I'll do some editing on my previous video that I've been filming this 1-2 weeks. And then I'll see I can put a story and share them with you on my next upcoming video on Sunday. I have new video. In fact, I've been doing that like for the past few weeks on every Sunday around noontime. I'll publish a new vlog about slow living and about, you know, some information about the place that I stay and what I do during the summer from a Singaporean point of view. And I really hope that you enjoy them. And please let me know if you do or not. And I hope to see you in my next video. All right? So have a nice day. Tomorrow we are expecting some guests. So I will be cooking, and hopefully I could do some video about what I cook and how I prepare a party. So I'll see you in my next